You actually talked about that in next episode.
Let me start that just section.
Yeah.
Just going to do that. So Yay, you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up with CK and GK. Let's get started.
Trick or treat.
Yes, it is. We're so glad you're here. Halloween is just around the corner if you're listening to this on the day it's released or whatever. But today I told Jenny one thing for the topic, but I actually changed my mind. And I have a little Halloween fun planned for her and for you too, so stay tuned. But before we get started,
she's my ghoul. Her name is Kate.
She's my perplexingly golden-haired elf. Are you being an elf for Halloween? I don't know.
No, I want to be that Australian breakdancer.
Yes.
And just like roll around on the floor. But we've decided to do a group costume, all the principals. So we're dressing as students, which will also be great.
Yeah, it will.
Our kids wear a uniform and often augment it. So we will be.
Yes. Understood. So. Okay. Well, I want to go ahead and get started because I'm so excited to do this. I got this. It was like one of those just bugs that got into my head that I couldn't let it go. And I felt like this was going to be so fun. So first I have to ask you, what are some songs, just songs out there in the ether, in the world that you associate with Halloween?
Of course, Monster Mash.
Okay. What else?
Thriller.
Okay.
Let me think.
Werewolves of London.
Okay. Yes. The Addams Family theme song.
Yeah. Anything related to Vincent Price. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Thriller.
Okay.
My sources for today are songwriters Rodney Lynn Temperton, the lyrics to a very special song that are copyrighted by Warner Chappell Music and AmericanSongwriter.com. This is the story of Thriller.
Cool! This is good. I like it.
I did very, very basic preliminary research for this. And what I mean by research is I asked my husband and friend of the show, Ariella, if they know the Thriller song, which of course they said yes to, and know what's actually happening in the Thriller song. So I have to ask you, do you actually know what the song is about?
I thought it was about someone going to a graveyard and a party.
Okay. So
it's not.
It's not. Let me back it up. So let's talk about how the song started. So this song Thriller is written after the very famous album Off the Wall, which is
the
Michael
Red Jacket.
Jackson's, I believe. No. The Red Jacket's in.
Oh, sorry.
Off the Wall is previous to that.
This is the one where he's like laying beefcake and like.
This is the album where he was snubbed at the Grammys for Album of the Year, even though he was like multi-platinum already off of this album. This is a huge deal. Off the Wall was a turning point for him. Then the Thriller album comes out after that. Okay. Originally, Rodney Temperton, who wrote many of the songs on Off the Wall that are very famous, was working on a song called Starlight. The song called Starlight has a very similar cadence to Thriller. It starts with, there's indication that someone else is standing on the ground across the nation. There's always people trying to pull you down. Now is the time for us to spend this evening close together. Deep in the night, we're holding on to someone else's dream. Girl, can't you see? We need some starlight. Starlight sun. There ain't no second chance. We got to make it while we can. You'll need the starlight, some starlight sun. I need you by my side. You give me starlight, starlight, starlight. Okay. You can hear it already, right? Like, you know, it's there. So Quincy Jones, very famous music producer, was producing Michael Jackson's 6th album. He loved the arrangement of the song, but just felt like it's a little not where MJ's going, right? So Temperton kind of reworked the first verse of the song after having this moment where like I think the word thriller needs to be in there. This is like he had like a sort of epiphany where he was like, this is the word. It's an earworm. I can't get it out. This is it.
That is interesting.
Right. Again, now we hear the lyrics change. So now it's close to midnight and something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. Okay. So they have Michael sing it. It works. And then within 2 hours, Temperton had rewritten the entire rest of the song.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Right. So we have to also talk about Vincent Price.
Right.
Because he like I get chills when he starts. I love Michael Jackson is problematic. The song is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, let's separate for a moment.
We have done that before. You can separate the art from the artist.
Right. I'm not sure if you know this pop culture moment, but Peggy Lipton, the actress and model, from the Mod Squad, right? She was Quincy Jones's wife at the time.
Oh.
Yes. She is also the mother of Rashida and Kadeda Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So they ultimately got divorced and all that stuff, but they were together, and she had a thought that perhaps her friend, Vincent Price, should be the master of the Thriller ceremony. And then Temperton wrote in Vincent Price's words at the end of the song.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Right? Okay. So all of that said, there's some background there. The song, from what I've given you so far, sounds like it's about what you said earlier, right? Like undead, scary things. That's not what it's about at all.
Oh.
The song is actually about a guy who's watching a horror movie with his date and using the creepiness of the movie to get her to snuggle up to him and be physically close to him.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
The song uses, and the video does too, all of the usual horror movie tropes, right? Like aliens, zombies, ghouls, demons. He turns into a werecat at the end of the video.
Yes.
There's a girl walking in the dark and she can only be saved by her boyfriend, right? So when you hear the lyrics, all of a sudden this makes complete sense, right? The chorus itself maybe not so helpful, right? So this is Thriller night, and no one's going to save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller night, as in movie Thriller. Right. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Okay. He keeps going. He talks about doors slamming. There's cold hands on you. You try to scream. You can't. There's a creature creeping up behind you. All these things. Then towards the end, he says, they're out to get you. There's demons closing in on every side. They will possess you unless you change that number on your dial.
No.
Yes. Now is the time for you and I to cuddle close together all through the night. I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller night. This is my favorite part. When I heard this lyric, this is when the entire song came together for me, because I realized this on my own without doing any research. It occurred to me that like nobody really knows what the song is about, especially people our age, because this song came out before many of us were born, or right around the time we would have been infants, right? Okay.
And I never learned all the words to it.
No, because who does? Because you got enthralled with the video. So you just were thinking that's what it was, right? Which I'll get into in a minute. He says, I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller night, because I can thrill you more than any ghoul would ever dare try.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller.
Okay, I know that line.
Chiller thriller here tonight.
Oh my gosh.
He is talking about comforting a girl during a scary movie so he can snuggle up with her and maybe give her a little smooching.
Love that.
It's being creepy. It's being calculated,
totally
right?
Planning. Oh my gosh.
Right. He's planning. It's Thriller night. We're going to watch a scary movie together and we're going to have a little romantic.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Whatever. That's what he's doing. It's so, and then you hear the part where it turns into the Vincent Price start talking. Darkness falls across the land, blah, blah, blah. This is actually kind of a creepy part, right? But then you hear MJ in the background saying, I'm going to thrill you tonight. That's what he's... So in that little break when there's Vincent Price not talking, but it's in that space, he's saying, I'm going to thrill you tonight in the background the whole time. That's what's happening.
This is so funny.
Yes. Isn't it amazing?
That's hilarious. They had no idea they were writing like an iconic Halloween song when it was really just about like...
It's a romantic song. The whole point is that it's a romantic song. I love it. So I'm glad you said that because we think of Thriller as a Halloween song. No, it wasn't released until November 3rd. November 3rd, 1982.
Wow, missed the mark
date.
on that one.
Right. Like had they known, I'm sure they would have pushed it out like,
Yeah, I'm sure it was ready
October 25th.
3 days earlier, 4 days earlier.
Sure. Yeah. Just a couple of other bits of information about this song. I highly recommend like listening to it with the lyrics on because you'll be like, oh my God. And you'll just have this like huge epiphany like I did one day when I was like 35 and like, oh my God.
This is the story that's in the video.
Yes. We're going to get to that.
Okay,
I want to tell you about that. Okay. So Thriller, just FYI, became the biggest selling album of all time with over 100 million sales worldwide. It was the first album to be certified platinum 30 times in the US.
Oh my gosh.
This is the album with Billie Jean and Beat It and The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney. This is huge, right? So you have Off the Wall, which was huge.
But this is like
and then you
even
have this,
huger.
which is huger. Right, exactly. I want to talk about the video because the video is what is burned into our brains, right? Like that is what we think of. And that's why I think so many of us don't know what the song is actually about. Right. Because you're watching the video and not processing the words. Okay. This is an insane video. It is 13 minutes long plus.
Yeah.
It had a $1 million budget.
Oh my gosh. So like in today's money, that's probably like 5 million.
Somewhere in there. I don't know.
There's like that inflation
We could do a calculation. Yeah, we could figure it out. That's a thing that they do on My Favorite Murder.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we're like, in today's money, and they never get it right. And it's really fun. In today's money, $75 million. Okay. So Ola Ray is the girlfriend. It's shot inside the Palace Theater in LA, which is huge. But the plot of the thing is that they go to the theater, they're driving home, they run out of gas in the woods. They walk as much like she's freaked out in the woods. He puts his arms around her, walks her out into the streets, and that's when you get the zombie stuff, right?
Okay, in today's money, it's $3,094,219.82.
Okay, so I was actually going to guess right around 3 million because I just had that in my head, but only because I had just listened to an episode of My Favorite Murder where the inflation was around 3 times.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's why I had it.
That's it. Sorry.
Amazing.
I had to look it up.
Amazing. 3 million is, I mean, I'm sure now that's like not that much money, but for a music video.
A music video at a time where that was still a flexible
it wasn't a thing
form, right? Like it was still growing.
It wasn't a thing. So again, the video is 13 minutes long. There's the choreography that was done by, I can't remember the person's name right now, which I should have, but Michael Jackson helped with it. The video doubled the sales of the album.
Wow.
And you need to understand the video. So the album comes out November 3rd. Right. The video doesn't come out until December 2nd of 1983.
And was Thriller the first single off that album?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, wow. So like that's really clever marketing to wait.
So MTV was 2 years old when Thriller premiered on December 2nd, 1983, and it literally blew up the airwaves of MTV. The video alone was released on VHS, and the video alone sold 9 million.
You could buy the video.
Copies. Yes, you could. That's how I first saw it.
No way.
I saw it on VHS. Yes. So when I was a kid, I went to a daycare, as many of us do, right?
You watched this at daycare?
Yes. Because the people who run the daycare, the main woman was like really into MJ, like really into MJ. And so and all the Jacksons, and she's just an older, she's a different generation. So we used to listen to the Jackson 5, like during like random like playtime or during we were playing in the gym or whatever. She would have the Jacksons on, and she would play Janet, which was, now I've learned, probably not appropriate.
That's hilarious.
And lots of MJ, lots of it. So she would, like, sometimes around Halloween, she'd just like pull out the VHS and pop it in. We'd watch it for 15 minutes. It was amazing, and all of us loved it. I recall her watching it. Oh, I'm sure she did. Not only because she got to hear it and see it, but also because we were into it, right? Yeah. And I mean, you know, this is a big daycare. It was like at a school. It's a big daycare. There were like 50 of us all there watching it
on
from
a TV,
like
on a cart.
6th grade down. Yeah, exactly. From 6th grade down to kindergarten. We all loved it. It was the first music video inducted into the National Film Registry in 2009. So this thing was absolutely massive. Okay. And when you watch the video, you can actually see the plot of him snuggling up to her and watching a movie.
And then
together.
they like enter into the movie.
Mm-hmm. And he turns around and does the creepy
right.
Yeah, with the creepy laugh at the end. So that is the story of Thriller.
Yeah!
The movie that is its own entity, the song that is pop culture iconic.
I can't believe you could buy the video. That's nuts.
You could totally buy the video. There's also like, it changed fashion too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you think about the iconic red jacket. There's so much about it that's like really, really amazing. The person who I think was the fashion designer also had worked on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that's funny. But that just shows like if you are good at the art that you create, you can take in the context of where it goes, right? Like, it's one thing to just like paint every picture and have it look the same and be like, this is my style. But it's another to say like, okay, I have to enter into this time period, this place, and put together outfits that work for that.
It's honestly, it was so amazing to me that like talent attracts talent, right? Like Temperton being this amazing songwriter, Quincy Jones being an incredible producer, costume designers, incredible makeup artists.
I want to work on this project.
I want to work on this album with him. It's like there. I even recently saw like a rehearsal of the dancers like in a studio doing the Thriller dance, and just they had worked so hard on it, and he just kind of like strolls in and just picks it up immediately, and it's just incredible. Talent attracts talent. Again, problematic person, incredible art, but I felt like this was a fun thing.
It's really
Halloween,
cool.
So.
Way to go. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Let's take a little break.
Let's take a break. For links to resources mentioned in this episode, head on over to ckandgkpodcast.com/blog to find everything you need. And be sure to follow us on social media. Head over to your favorite social media network and find us at CKNGK Podcast. And now, back to the show. Girl, let me hold you tight and share. Sorry. It's been in my head. So the funny thing is, this came to me. I mean, I had a different idea for this episode. I was going to do something about trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
No. But this just hit me and I felt like I had to do it. But the song hit me at like 9:30 last night. Maybe not quite that late. Maybe not quite that late. Maybe more like 8:30. Where I was like, this would be fun. This would be fun. I got to do this. This would be fun. So I just like flopped this whole thing. You know what I mean? I haven't been able to get the song out of my head. So there you go. Anyway. What's your gems? Let's have some circle time.
So this is the time of the show where we sit down, we tell stories, we catch up a little bit. So first, let us talk about what we are obsessed with. And for me, right now, it is chapstick. Okay, I can't even get enough of it. I think I have done that thing where you put too much chapstick on and then you start to get addicted to it.
Isn't that what Carmex did?
Right? You know, like Afrin, you can like use it for 3 days and then you have to be off and then
you have to stop. Yeah.
So I think I might have like done that with moisturizer.
What are you using?
Okay, I don't even care. I got a free sample of the viral one that is pink, and they're not sponsoring us, but you know which one I'm talking about. It comes in a little jar, and sometimes it has like a little scoop and you rub it on. Some people wear it overnight. Yeah. But I have also been using like the old school Blistex in a tube.
For whatever reason, the chapstick at the dentist is like that, and it is the best chapstick in the whole wide world. I don't even know what kind of generic whateverness that is, but
it's probably just like straight Vaseline.
I I don't think Vaseline like
No, I don't think
moisturizes
so
my lips. I
either.
think it holds the moisture in, but I don't think it I love Aquaphor. I have a big old tube right
Oh
here.
my gosh.
I have a giant tube and I love it. That's what I use
Abby
all the
just had
time.
her birthday party, and that's going to be my gem, so we'll talk about it in a minute. But when her bestie, who is at this party, turned whatever birthday she just had, 13, 14, I can't remember. One of the things she wanted was a giant thing of Aquaphor. And I was like, this is what we're giving her
Yeah.
for her birthday? And she was like, no, it's what she wants. I was like, okay. We bought like the 55
Like the
gallon
fat.
drum size.
Yeah. It's huge.
Like it comes with a dolly so you can bring it wherever you go.
That's so disgusting. She's gonna have that until
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
30.
It's so gross. It's huge. It must be at least 16 ounces. It's huge.
I'm obsessed with Dua Lipa showing up at Don's Depot.
Wait, what?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, if you're listening to this outside of Austin, Texas, Don's Depot is a dive bar in a train car.
I love that.
Did
you mean to rhyme?
No, but that's what it is,
no.
right?
It's the best tagline for it ever.
Dive bar in a train car. Don is a musician. He is a much older man. I want to say in his 80s, something like that. Yeah. Maybe almost 90. And he plays like
periodically
music all night long. Yeah, all night long. Sometimes they have guests performing, but usually it's Don and his crew. There's a much older gentleman who will grab women from all over the bar and two-step with them in the middle of the space. It has no food. It has a popcorn machine.
Have you been at Christmas?
That's it. At Christmas, it looks like
the dollar store threw up.
Right. I was going to say the entire inside of Michael's.
Yes.
But lights. And it is a very special time of year to go. And they leave the lights up. I think they do it like right around, I think before Thanksgiving, they have to start. Anyway,
but
it's
like
it's
that,
pretty special.
Plastic tinsel is everywhere.
Cardboard
cutouts with the little brad so that the arms will move. Like those are everywhere. Just close your eyes and imagine how your teacher decorated your classroom in the 80s. And like, that's what Dawn's is all through the holiday season.
Yes. With fun music and
red velvet carpet.
Red, but like worn down and dirty red velvet carpet. And it's kind of close to, so many of people outside of Austin know the very iconic El Arroyo letterboard signs that are very famous. It's near that. So like, this is the kind of funky area of Austin we're talking about. Dua Lipa went to Don's Depot and there's pictures of Dua Lipa hugging Don.
Oh my God.
On the Don's Depot Instagram.
So much.
So yesterday, my husband just doesn't say anything to me, just puts his phone in my face like this. And I'm like, what? And I completely lose my mind, stand up, and I'm like, and apparently she loves it there. She came to Austin for ACL not long ago.
And she's like, this is my favorite place.
She loves Don's
Depot.
Depot.
I have never met anyone who's been to Don's and isn't like, okay, yeah, it's great. They have a loft in the ladies' room where you can like climb up and peek on the dance floor and make sure that your date isn't dancing with someone else.
Also, if you ever go to Don's Depot, bring a Sharpie because you need to write something on the inside of the bathroom wall. Yes, and actually the women's bathroom is like one of those things where if guys aren't, if there are no women there, I would suggest that a man go in the bathroom and just look because it's nothing like what the man's bathroom looks like from what I understand. It's just
really classic.
It's a special place.
Bring cash.
It's a place where, bring cash because you
can't get in without it.
Yep, you have to pay a cover in cash.
And be ready to be served your drink in the like clear, the kind of opaque plastic cups that you had at a class party. Like they're not even red Solo cups, they're like a level below that. It's amazing.
Right. Bring hand sanitizer because everything is sticky. Not that it's dirty, it's just sticky because there's
spilled drinks everywhere.
It's just spilled drinks everywhere. But it's a beautiful place. And I saw Dua Lipa and I just went like, are you stinking kidding me? What
Okay.
is this?
So
So
speaking of
that's my
husbands,
obsession.
like randomly showing things on the internet, John texted me
Yeah.
yesterday in the middle of the school day, and he knows that like if I see him text me in the middle of the school day, like it's probably something I need to respond to. And it was just a screenshot of a tweet saying that the favorite NFL halftime snack, okay, among the players, 80,000 of these are eaten over a regular NFL season. The
Okay.
Broncos eat 700 a week.
Okay.
Uncrustables. It's not even my jam. My jam is that last night we took Abby. She's turning 13, and we said like, "Hey, what do you want to do? You want to go to New York? You want to go to Disneyland? Like, what do
Cool.
you want to do?"
That's a
And
good
she's like,
birthday.
"Actually, I just want to have some friends stay over and go to Museum of Ice Cream." And I was like, "Cool, great."
Yes, that place
And I
is
was like, "Do you want to
fun.
get a car? Like, do you want us to go in a limo or something?" She was like, "No, just clean out the Buick." Like, all right. So,
At a girl.
John cleaned out the car. We went out to dinner, and then we went to very light dinner because the Museum of Ice Cream is you
Ice
can
cream.
eat your way through it.
Right,
Yes, it is one of
exactly.
those Instagram photo op places, but it's also got ice cream in every room. Like there is no shortage of ice cream on your tour.
It's all you can eat in there. Yep.
And that's it. Like you can't traffic moves one direction, but like they encourage you to go back and like, oh, you want another scoop of this kind? Go back to that room and get another scoop of it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that they do is when you arrive, you have to give yourself an ice cream flavor name. And Abigail and her friends decided to be Sugar Mommy, Sugar Daddy, and Sugar Baby. And I was like, this is a picture that is going in your senior yearbook.
Oh, goodness gracious. I think I gave myself like cookies and cream or something.
Most people do. Great.
Sam lost a tooth.
Was it attached to a bracket?
It was attached to a bracket. How did you know?
Well, you told us about when he went to the ortho and she like pulled out the metal and the bracket and like, here's the tooth.
Yeah. The reason Jenny knows this, guys, is because when the episode for last week got messed up, I had to cut this part of this because our audio completely jacked up. No worries.
Spoiler alert!
I have told Jenny this story, but you guys don't know it. She's undoing the rubber bands on my son's braces and just makes a face and stops for a second, and I see her, and then she just casually keeps going, and she pulls the wire out and she goes, "So you lost a tooth?" Oh my gosh. She goes, "I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to freak him out, but like here it is." And it's just this wire with a tooth hanging off of it. It was
This has been a debacle because like there was this whole drama about should they pull the tooth, should they not, should they.
He was panicking.
Like what is going to happen with this poor kid who does not want to have a tooth quote unquote pulled? It's loose, but it just won't fall out. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I spoiled the whole story. That's amazing.
Well, I'm not retelling it. We're not re-recording it. I think it's funny. She just pulls it out, and there had seriously been so much like, "No, don't pull my tooth." Like he was panicking about it, which is fair. He's 8 years old. Like you don't want your teeth pulled out.
Like
I get it.
A lot.
Right. And he already is like anxious about stuff like that. So I totally don't blame him, but it was just, she just like holds up this wire with a tooth just dangling off. Oh, gross. Although if your kid's gonna lose a tooth, right. If your kid's gonna lose a tooth, that's the best way to do it, honestly, is just let them, they pull it, they accidentally get it out of there, and then she puts it in a little hygienic bag. So I don't actually have to touch it.
Oh, John loves pulling out the kids' teeth. He uses those little floss picks and like lassos them.
Oh no, I don't like teeth.
I don't either. I am not into teeth.
I'm not a tooth saver. There are those families who save teeth and they put them in a little.
Well, and I heard a podcast one time where they were talking about the legend of the tooth fairy in their family. The tooth fairy builds a house out of the teeth. I was like, no. Our tooth fairy, I understand that there's lots of tooth fairies because like the world is very large. Our tooth fairy, we did not contract with one who builds houses out of it.
No, our tooth fairy is named the Molinator.
Love it. Love it.
It's from
Yes, yes,
Santa
yes,
Claus
yes,
too. I
yes.
didn't make it up. And the Molinator does not share what is done with the teeth, but I can
No.
assure you that there will not be a moment where the Molinator drops them off and finds them in some sort of shared thing for my child to find upon the death of
No. No.
us.
No, 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 no,
Like,
no.
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 No, 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 no,
No.
no.
I also heard
Ugh.
another legend that the tooth fairy collects the baby teeth and then puts them in babies. So like when Abigail loses
Speaking of Halloween,
when
no.
Abigail loses a tooth, the tooth fairy would collect it and then put it in Kit's mouth later.
We're recycling
And I was like,
teeth.
nope,
No,
nope,
thank
I'm
you.
not working with that tooth fairy either. I need a tooth fairy who collects
Mm-mm.
the teeth and then like powders them into
And takes
something and like
them
make
right.
something totally different because she needs the calcium. I don't even know, but like I found a tooth fairy that doesn't do any of
She's
those.
calcium and iron deficient, so she grinds them up and turns them
Yeah.
into.
She has some kind of other lucrative business on the side, which is why she can afford to leave money in favor of the teeth.
Like that tooth fairy. Oh, all right,
Okay.
y'all. I don't do teeth.
No, me neither.
Gross.
So, when you are searching for
Contracting
a
with
tooth fairy
your
to
tooth fairy?
contract, make good choices.
And share a killer thriller.
Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.